But there are always men in our neighborhood, and they're relatives or fathers of playdates or old college roommates, still bachelors, their beards and clothes and cars out of place among our clean-shaven husbands and their practical automobiles, their sharply cut suits. We always notice the outsiders, but we are rarely alarmed. This is not the kind of neighborhood where we need to be. Even as he drew nearer, passing in front of our houses, his presence registered, but that's all. Those of us inclined to take more careful note of outsiders did. Those of us who are not, did not. Mrs. McIntyre, for one, always notes the kind of shoes people wear. It's a cautionary measure, she says, in case somewhere down the line the police need as many details as possible. This particular man wore boots. The color, brown, faded under a layer of dust or dirt. Toes, pointed. Rise, unknown. They were hidden beneath his jeans, the legs of which were stovepipe straight. Mrs. McIntyre almost forgot to notice the shoes entirely, though, because as he passed her on the sidewalk, her dog, Sweetie, did not bark. Sweetie has barked at all of us, even though we've known her since she was a young pup, turning herself in circles in the front yard and nipping at the calves of all who passed the McIntyre's threshold. But this man walked right past the pair of them, woman and dog, and Sweetie was still. She always barks, Mrs. McIntyre found herself telling the man as he went by, then reminded herself to look at his shoes. He didn't slow down, but he smiled at her, then said over his shoulder, "Animals always like me." His voice was deep and pleasant, soft and somehow pliable, the way she imagined the leather of his boots would feel. Across his chest was a brown leather strap attached to a small bag, almost, Mrs. McIntyre thought, like a lady's purse, but it didn't seem out of place. He wore it the same way a person wears his arms, his legs, the hair on his head. Naturally, organically. She didn't watch him as he moved down the sidewalk, but only a moment later, Sweetie barked, and Mrs. McIntyre looked over her shoulder, and the street was empty. On another street, a few turns away from where Mrs. McIntyre strolled with Sweetie, a group of children playing soccer saw the man too, but barely noticed him. Those who did saw an adult, expecting him to tell them to get out of the street, to watch for cars, to go in and wash up for dinner. Billy Morris squinted up at the sky. It had been cloudy all day, and it had barely changed color from hour to hour. But the sun had begun to set, and the bearded man would have been right if he had told them it was time to go home. But he didn't. Christine Pittman kicked the ball in his direction, hoping, what, that he would come play? That he would speak to her? But it hit the curb and rolled back to her. "Nice one," Billy Morris said. The man kept walking. April Morris, Billy's mother, was on the phone with her neighbor across the street, watching the kids outside through the window above the kitchen sink. Her fingers wrapped up in the curls and loops of the phone cord, she leaned back to see the time on the stove. "I'm going to have to go in a sec," she said. "I've got to get Billy back inside and into fresh clothes before Eric gets home. Has Tim gotten horribly smelly lately, too?" "It's too awful," Bev said on the other end of the line. "It's ungodly. I can't even talk about it. Why can't they all be girls?" April laughed. She turned and leaned against the sink, her back to the window. "You know why," she said suggestively. Bev was 7 months pregnant. April waited for her friend to respond. Bev has a quick wit, though sometimes too much so. But she didn't say anything. "Bev?" April said. "Sorry," Bev said. "I got distracted. Some guy just walked past the kids, and it looked like Christine Pittman was going to kick a ball at his head." April turned back around and looked out the window.